Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are joined by 5 of our trustees, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Timothy Harney, our assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, Mr. Robert Haas, our assistant superintendent for finance and operations, Mrs. Carrie Lachlan, our district legal counsel, Mr. Edward McCarthy, our district clerk, Ms. Suzanne Benetti, and as always, our student delegate, Ms. Kaylee Bruckner. As always, there are 2 opportunities for the community to participate. The first is just before the board takes up its agenda, and the second files a disposition of all agenda items. If you would like to speak, we ask that you come to the podium. You must be a resident or an employee of the school district. Any other person must be voted and authorized by the board. We ask that you keep those comments to approximately 3 minutes. As always, this is live streamed and posted to board docs, and you can follow the district at BBP School District. But before we get into Dr. Harney's report, we'll open up to the community members for any new or old business. Not hearing any, we'll open it up. Dr. Harney, how are you tonight, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Doing well, thank you. First, before I get started, we have a number of our teachers that are here with us tonight for the celebrating the Teacher of the Month. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you. I've got that. Yep, there you go. There you go. The whole clan of the Birdsals, you guys can't see it online, is here, so congratulations to them as well. But as we said, I just really want to thank you for all that you do. We often hear about the idea of the motto of belong, believe, possible, and you truly demonstrate that within your classrooms and everything that you do. So I would like to personally thank you for that and for all that you do. It definitely it's something that we notice on an everyday basis. So thank you so much and congratulations to all of you. In a little bit while, we'll bring you up. Mr. Haas will do a little reading. We'll get to recognize you, but thank you. Just a couple other things is thanks to Mr. Weber, his staff, the students, CBs, buildings and grounds, anyone that was really involved with the musical this past weekend. Guys and Dolls, I got to see it. It was outstanding. One of the things I often say is every year we have students who do an outstanding job, and you always wonder, that one graduates, how are you going to replace it? And we always seem to. So congratulations to them. You really did a great job. It was great to see you. Well done. Just a couple of other little things. The UPK lottery was recently done. As of right now, we are able to seat all of our students that have applied for pre-K. So that's a good thing. So I know Mr. Haas had done that lottery earlier in the week. So that is something. Also, on Friday, just remember, is PSA I Love You Day, something that we do as a district, so that's a Wear a Purple Day. Also, we have on this weekend is we celebrate our SROs, our school resource officers, who really support us on a regular basis, so I'd like to thank them for all the work that they do. And then also, just as a reminder, before I turn this over to Ms. Bruckner, that we have the winter recess next week, so hopefully everyone gets time to kind of relax, reset, and enjoy some time with family and friends. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Bruckner.
Thank you. For Academy Street, last week we celebrated Global Play Day, where students had time built into their day for unstructured play. We also kicked off our One School, One Book event on World Read Aloud Day. Our 5th grade students revealed the book title, Otter, by Catherine Applegate, during live morning announcements. Yesterday, our 1st grade had their annual Black and White Penguin Day, where they shared all they have learned about penguins. Finally, this Thursday, we will welcome our Academy families to our Sweetheart Dance at 6:30 p.m. at Academy. Thank you, and have a happy Valentine's Day and a nice winter break next week. As for Sylvan, last week, Sylvan Avenue was proud to host our first community read aloud in celebration of World Read Aloud Day, welcoming school, district, and staff members, Board of Education trustees, and members of our community into classrooms to share meaningful books connected to our district mission of Belong, Believe, Possible. Our students loved meeting their special guest readers and experiencing the joy of reading together. We wish our students, staff, and families a wonderful and well-deserved break next week. Blue Point Elementary collected cans of soup to participate in their own soup or bowl. Students brought them in and put them on the table of the team they wanted to win. 138 for the Seahawks and 105 for the Patriots, with a total of 243 cans going to local food pantries. We are excited to celebrate our 100th day of school on Friday, February 13th, and look forward to what the rest of the year will bring. The middle school is excited to host a series of information nights to support students and families as they transition from the elementary buildings to the middle school and from grade to grade. All 3 nights will take place at 6:30 p.m. in the middle school auditorium. On Monday, February 23rd, we will focus on bringing the transition from 6th to 7th grade. On Thursday, February 26th, we welcome current 5th grade families as they prepare for the transition into middle school. And on Tuesday, March 3rd, 7th grade families are invited to attend an 8th grade information night. We look forward to connecting and supporting students during these transition points. As for the high school, this past weekend, the musical Guys and Dolls was performed, which was a huge success and a pleasure to watch. We hope everyone enjoyed the show and got a chance to see it. Congratulations to all those who helped put on the show and participated to help make it so special. Winter sports are well into their playoff seasons, with girls and boys basketball entering the first round, as well as some of our track athletes qualifying for states. Congratulations to all. Later this week, we will celebrate PS I Love You Day to promote mental health awareness. Make sure you wear purple on Friday. Also, in the main lobby, be sure to stop by and purchase a Desi Strong shirt, as the school-wide pickleball tournament in the organization's honor will be held right before break. All profit will be donated to the organization. Also, make sure to spread some love and make someone smile by making a Valentine's Day gram to be handed out on Friday. We hope everyone enjoys a happy and safe break.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bruckner. At this time, we're going to turn over to Mr. Haas to recognize our Teacher of the Months.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. It is my honor to stand here tonight and recognize the Teachers of the Month for the months of September, October, November, December, and January. So starting with the month of September, this Teacher of the Month for September has been described as passionate and dedicated. They are supportive of their coworkers and leads their grade level with creative and new ideas and strategies. They are a dedicated teacher who is always putting the needs of their students first. She takes the time to get to know her students' strengths and weaknesses. She creates lessons to meet the needs of a class of diverse learners. This teacher is well versed in her grade level curriculum, but still finds new and exciting ways to deliver her class lessons. The Teacher of the Month for the month of September, Christina Schroeder. All right, for the month of October, this teacher goes above and beyond for every single day to support our students' communication, confidence, and academic success. She works tirelessly to ensure that every child finds their voice, whether that means helping a student articulate a new sound, build language to express their ideas, or gain the confidence to participate in classroom discussions. This teacher's compassion, patience, and creativity shine through in all that they do. Students love working with her because she celebrates progress, encourages joy in learning, and makes every small success feel meaningful. The Teacher of the Month for the month of October, Caitlin Cregan. For the month of November, this teacher is truly a champion for the students she teaches. She works tirelessly to ensure that each child receives the individualized instruction and attention they need to feel confident and successful. Her dedication to her students goes far beyond the classroom. She advocates for them, supports their growth, and celebrates their achievement. They embody everything a dedicated, hardworking, and reliable educator should be. She greets everyone with a kind smile and a genuine hello, brightening the day of anyone who crosses her path. And we have to note, she is also affectionately known as our grammar guru, the go-to person for all things spelling, punctuation, and polished phrasing. Congratulations to the Teacher of the Month for the month of November, Stephanie Birdsall. Now for the month of December. This teacher is someone who has always been all about kids. They are a steady source of warmth, guidance, and high expectations, a parent figure when needed, but also someone who consistently pushes their students to grow as learners and as young people. Even after their students move on to the next grade, this teacher continues to check in, offering insight not only about academics, but also about the student's social and emotional well-being. The families trust this educator deeply. Many continue to reach out long after their children have left the classroom, seeking advice and support. The Teacher of the Month for the month of December, Karen Herlihy. And finally, for the month of January, this teacher has been described as a true inspiration who consistently goes above and beyond for both staff and students in every role they hold. They're a dedicated and passionate teacher and a club advisor who has organized and led major school and community events, including the One Act Play Festival, the Trunk or Treat, and the Haunted House, two charity events that have raised thousands of dollars each year to support families in need. This teacher continues to mentor students in every aspect of the theatrical production, inspiring many to pursue theater studies in college. The Teacher of the Month for the month of January, Stephanie Eberhard Holgerson.
We'd also like to recognize Mr. Clayton, who's here tonight. Big round of applause. And would like to acknowledge, we spoke to Mr. Clayton, and he said he's taking you guys out to dinner tonight, so we're really appreciative of that, so thank you so much, Mr. Clayton. Yeah. And Mr. McCarthy. Well, at this time, if you guys would like to leave, we definitely will understand, but there is an amazing budget presentation about to happen soon. But one more round of applause for these great teachers right here. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for coming. But we'll turn it over to Ms. Lachlan for our budget presentation number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So tonight is our 4th workshop with regards to the budget for the 26-27 school year. Tonight we're going to start getting into the expenditure side of the budget. The past couple meetings we've gone over the revenue. And now we're going to focus on the buildings and grounds budget, transportation, benefits, the debt, and we're also going to kind of tie back to the conversations we've had about the levy for 26-27 school year. As always, we always start looking at our priority areas, and everything we're doing with building the budget ties back to these priority areas to make sure that we're meeting our goals of the district. So with that, in our buildings and grounds, these are just some highlights of what we see in the budget for buildings and grounds. The equipment budget is about $130,000, and within that equipment line is the purchase of a pickup truck with a plow, which was intended to hopefully be purchased this year, but through budget development last year did get removed from the budget at that time. So we are looking to get that for next school year, as well as some aging machines that we have, floor scrubbers, our lawn mowers, things of that nature that are just aging out and kind of irreparable at this point that do need replacing. So that's what we have in our equipment lines for buildings and grounds. Within the area of utilities, you can see our budget is about just under $1.2 million. That's the total budget for all utilities, gas, electric, water. This budget at this point in time has been decreased by $59,000, and that's purely the result of the savings that we're seeing for the EPC project and the solar panels that were installed. We're continuing to monitor these lines. We really have to get through a full year cycle to understand the true savings that we're seeing. So this is just the estimate at this point in time that we're comfortable reducing those by. But as we continue through the next few months and finalize budget, if we need to adjust further down, we will do so. Within the area of building repairs, as you know, our buildings are aging out. We've not done a capital bond in quite a few years. So we do continue to budget for significant repairs, things we don't know that could happen, which include HVAC repairs, windows, boilers, roofs, fencing. As you see all that snow out there, every time we do plowing, the fences do sometimes get damaged. So we do need to make sure we have money in those lines for all buildings to do those repairs as necessary. Then service contracts, just under $430,000, and this is where we contract out things that our guys cannot do, such as pest removal, garbage removal, cesspool services, those of the like that we bring in outside providers for. So some projects that are being proposed for next year, this is going to find in the transfer to capital line. They have prior years transfers that have not been fully spent, projects that have been approved already, which is $133,000 to replace piping over at Blue Point Elementary, as well as $500,000 to finish floor replacements district-wide. Those, again, were prior year projects that were budgeted for just because we can only get this work done over the summer months, haven't been able to get it done with all of it going on. We are in the process right now of entering into the contracts for that so we can get this work started as soon as students leave the buildings in June, so that we can get it done before the start of the new year. And then what we're proposing in this year's budget is adding $300,000 for HVAC replacement district-wide, some repairs as well as replacement above and beyond the maintenance that we're doing within the other budget that we just spoke of. So the total that we're seeing is $933,000, which you have seen as we walk through the tax levy. That becomes an exclusion in the tax levy formula calculation. Within the area of transportation, total transportation budget is $2.8 million. Currently, we own 7 buses of our own. They are small buses. They're doing our inter-district routes. They transport our students with special needs. We also then contract out with 2 vendors, one that does the big buses for us, and then another one that supports our small bus fleet. in our BOCES runs, our student with special needs runs that go out of district and the like. So you can see our small buses are the most expensive, of 1.8 million. However, we are fortunate that we do share routes with surrounding districts for that, so we do start seeing savings on those runs, and we continue to look to do that whenever possible with the vendor. Our in-house cost is $447,000. We are starting to see an uptick in repairs for our buses that we do own. We're monitoring that, and we'll continue to monitor that. As buses start having repairs that exceed the value, we will then bring to the board disposition of those buses, as it won't be cost efficient for us to maintain them. Benefits is a huge line within our budget. These are the two top areas, though, within the benefits. Benefits takes care of workers' comp, dental, vision, life insurance, all of those type of nature benefit line items, but the two key areas are health insurance and the TRS-ERS system that we're required to pay into on behalf of our employees. So benefits for health insurance, we are projecting the rate for 2027 to be about 10% increase above 2026. The thing with health insurance, that runs on a calendar year, not our fiscal year. So we only know what the rates are for our staff members up until December of next year. And then we have to kind of do a guesstimate of what we think it will be in the future years. We don't get a trend. We don't get a number from the insurance company. So we kind of just look at what have we been seeing, what do we think it will be, and we're comfortable with a 10% increase for the next year. Just basically premiums are quite high right now and not really sure how much higher they can get at this point. The teachers' retirement system and employee retirement system, we have a decrease in the rate for the teachers' retirement system. That is our contribution that we pay on behalf of our teaching staff. And then the New York State Employer Retirement System, that's for all of our support staff, clerical, buildings and grounds, our aides and assistants that we contribute. They did see a slight increase, just under 1% in rates. So between the two, it does kind of level off. That budget is not seeing too much of a decrease because the increase in ERS is somewhat offsetting that decrease in TRS. So within the area of debt, we have 4 bond payments still on the books. We also do carry the library debt that is not shown here. We carry that on our books, but we also have it as revenue as the library does pay it to us. It just flows through the district, so it's a net change. But with regards to our debt that we're responsible to pay back is the 2021 bond, the 2018 bond, the 2014 EPC, and the 2024 EPC. Again, this becomes part of the calculation for the tax levy. It's excluded. We have to tax for this as the community has already approved this work and the borrowing of the funds, and we're obligated to pay it back. So in summary, our debt is continuing to increase, and it is something we are looking at for capital projects in the future, that we may have to bring more debt on the books as it helps level out our levy. As you know, we have a negative levy this year because debt has fallen off the books, so we're trying to prevent the future debt causing that in future years. Our buildings and grounds projects, we're continuing to monitor as we go through the budget process. We're still very early in the stage, and if we do need to make reductions, this is an area that we will look at, making sure, though, that health and safety is our first priority district-wide. And then our contractual increases in benefits and transportation are outpacing our allowable levy limit. So with that, just a reminder, the tax levy limit that we've gone through a couple times already is set at negative 0.761%, which is a decrease of $473,000. We are going to propose a levy above the allowable limit as we go through this process. We're working on finalizing the budget. As I stated, we're early still with the budget process. We still have some key areas we're working on, such as staffing. Our BOCES budget we're just receiving this week, finalizing that. So as our budget starts to narrow down to what it truly is and the supports we will need, we will then make a recommendation to the board for what we're looking to sustain our programs in 26-27. So with that, we do have an unbalanced budget at this point in time. As of today, we are 2.9 unbalanced, so that is 2.9 million more expenditures than revenue that we have coming in. If you remember, the 25-26 current school year levy that we went out to vote on last year was 3.451%. However, the actual levy, after we reviewed calculation and made some adjustments, ended up being 0.249%. As a result, our revenue to revenue is decreased year to year by that 1.9 million. So while we knew we were going to have a negative levy because of the debt falling off, our budget itself is 1.9 short in revenue to support program going forward. As also state aid, as you know, we saw a very minimal increase in that area. We do anticipate potentially some more money coming through as the one-house budgets come in. But at this point, we're working with the governor's budget going forward. So again, to balance the 26-27 budget, we will require either reduction to program or increase in revenue. We are not looking to reduce program. We're continuing to review what we have and look at staffing, look at the expenses that we have, and really start tightening up some of those areas. However, going above the levy limit will be required as we are at a negative. So our proposal to the board is to take this information, digest this information, and we will look to have a conversation at our next meeting, as we are required to report on March 1st to the Comptroller's Office what our levy limit is, as well as what we anticipate our levy to be. That number is really a true projection of time. We don't know, and we won't know by March 1st what our levy will be needed to support our program, but we have to follow the law, we have to follow the requirement, and we do know that the negative levy is not something that we can use to support our budget. So just for reference, again, a negative 0.0761 is a $473,000 decrease from current year's levy. And just for reference for the board, every 0.5% increase on the levy is about $310,000. So as I mentioned before, we're currently just under a $3 million deficit in budget to budget. And if we need to go above, well, we will need to go above the levy limit, but to what extent, using that $310,000 as our guide for conversation in the future, so that we know what we're reporting to the Comptroller's Office, as well as to guide our conversation and administration with what we will be doing and what we'll be working with. Our next meeting, we do not have a budget presentation at our next meeting, but we will be asking the board to have a conversation about what we're reporting, because it is due March 1st, unless you'd like to have that conversation this evening. March 17th is our next budget workshop, where we'll talk about the extracurricular programming, technology, and athletics. We're not going to get into the meat of the budget, which is staffing, until the end of March, as we're working through a lot of those pieces, getting our true enrollment numbers, and really starting to look at class selections up at the high school level. So with that, I'll take questions from the board.
Any questions from trustees? Mr. Johnson?
No, it's great information. I like that everything was presented well. I mean, I had one of the best understandings that I've had in a while, so good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other trustees? Any community members? Thank you, Ms. Lachlan. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Moving on to the consent agenda, are there any items the board would like removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda? Not hearing any, can I have a motion to approve consent agenda items G through M? Ms. Pignataro, second by Ms. Conley. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to the regular agenda, can I have a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of policies 4770, graduation requirements, 6010, fiscal controls, 6550, extra classroom activity funds, 6690, audit committee, 8505, school food service program, and 8520, school meal services. Ms. Pignataro, second. No, Ms. Conley, sorry, second by Ms. Pignataro. Any discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Moving on to our second item and last item on the regular agenda, can I have a motion to approve the charter school resolution as read? Mrs. Conley, second by Ms. Pignataro. Any discussion? I would just say this was shared with Dr. Horney by our teacher union president, and the board is more than happy to approve this tonight. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Moving on, any community new business? Any trustee new business? Ms. Pignataro.
Just briefly, I know Ms. Bruckner mentioned this in her student report, but I wanted to just add a personal thanks to Mrs. Kelly and Ms. Pereno and all the team at Sylvan for the World Read Aloud Day event. It was a great day, and many of us here at the dais were able to participate, visit the classrooms, and share our specially selected books with them. So I just wanted to send an extra Special thank you to them. And also, as it is February, I just wanted to offer a recognition and celebration of Black History Month. Black history is an integral part of our shared American history, and while it can and should be recognized year-round, February is designated for national observance, so I just wanted to recognize that as well.
Thank you, Ms. Pignataro. Any other, Ms. Khan?
I just have a few quick items. I know that Ms. Bruckner celebrated some of our athletic teams, but I hope I have this information correct. I believe our entire wrestling team is headed to counties this weekend or over the break. And also our traditional cheer team made program history, bringing home a third place plaque in their most recent Section 11 competition. So I wanted to recognize them. I also wanted to point out, because this is always a hot button topic for people who are planning their vacations for next year. If you look at our agenda tonight, M1 is next year's school calendar, so it's out there. You can plan away. And then I just also wanted to thank Mr. Walcott and Ms. Ongaro for their presentation last night on Phantoms International. They're planning a trip to Spain and Portugal for next February break for the current 9th through 11th graders. So if you want more information about that, I'm sure you can reach out to Mr. Walcott, and also Ms. Ongaro has applications that are due on Friday, so it's a quick turnaround. It's a great experience. Thank you and your team for providing that experience for our kids.
Thank you, Ms. Kane. Any other trustees? Not hearing any, can I have a motion to adjourn? We're usually a little faster with that one. Ms. Kane? Mr. Johnson, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Have a great night, guys.